The Los Angeles Coliseum and the Autolite LA Coliseum Supercross, and the main event, the final race of the year, and the top riders coming out on the line now. The riders to look at, well, Jeff Ward, the final time he will carry that #1 plate, Team Kawasaki. Going up against Jeff Ward, a rider he's had a lot of problems with in the past, Johnny O'Mara, former Supercross champion, yet to win a Supercross this year. Everybody's favorite, Ricky Johnson, RJ, Team Honda, who has dominated Supercross this year. He'll carry the #1 plate next year. Ron Lechien, Team Kawasaki, long overdue for a Coliseum victory. And Keith Bowen, Team Yamaha's Great Yellow Hope, the rider from Pontiac, Michigan, lining up for the main event. They are set, the 250cc main event here at the Coliseum. The gate ready to drop. It's down, and they are off. Down the front straightaway they go, and it is Ronnie Lechien, Team Kawasaki, taking the whole shot with Jeff Ward right behind him and Ricky Johnson in third. Whoa, Lechien gets a beautiful start. Johnson trying to go to second, slams into Ward. It is Lechien out in front, and is he going to win his first Supercross of the year? Jeff Ward goes back into second. Johnson had it for a moment, and Jeff Ward took it back. There's a shot of Ron Lechien, your leader. Jeff Ward, the feet off the pegs, and here's Holly coming out of nowhere. Jim Holly, number 12 out of Northridge, California, has gone into third spot ahead of Ricky Johnson. And this is shocking about 50,000 people here at the Coliseum. Jim Holly has gone to third. Lechien, Ward, Holly, and Johnson. Kawasaki, Yamaha, and Honda. Ron Lechien out in front, David Stanfield down on the field. Any surprises here?
One surprise, Ricky Johnson rode so hard in his first heat race so he could get the pole position or his pick on the line. He did that, but he got a slow start.
He did indeed. And Ron Lechien did not get a slow start. He is out in front. 20 laps, remember, 20 laps for the main event, the 250 main event. And there's a shot of the human pogo sticks flying over the jumps, and look at the height they get. Here comes Johnson back up again next to Holly. He's going to try to take Holly out on the inside. He has got him, and Holly takes it back, and Johnson takes it back. And Johnson comes out on top of that little fray, and Holly goes back in front. Holy Toledo, and Johnson muscles his way by it. It is a knockdown, drag-out brawl between Ricky Johnson and Jim Holly. They're just battling for third. It has been said, and maybe David Stanfield can hear me down the field, there's nothing more exciting in Supercross to watch Ricky Johnson come up through the pack. David?
He is a master through the whoops, and he has that throttle wide open. He'll sit way back on his back. He's got a lot of strength. He used to weigh 160, then he went to 170. Now he's 180 pounds of muscle.
Almost going down. That was 180 pounds of muscle, almost going on the ground right there. Here's Ward taking a wide line, trying to get around Lechien. They come over the top of the peristyle, and down to the bottom, it's still Lechien in front. Lechien and Ward, two supremely conditioned athletes. They are able to run 6-minute miles, 5-6 miles at a time. Tremendous upper body strength, and Ward hammers at Lechien now. They are on the same team, but there is ask no quarter and give no quarter. Getting a little bit wild there on the whoops. Lechien holding on in front. Now Johnson looking good in third spot. David Stanfield, what's the story with Johnson?
Johnson is so strong during the whoops, and he's got another advantage. I think he is really fast up going through the peristyle there. He is making up so much time.
Ronnie Lechien out in front. Ward right on his back tire. Ward trying to go to the inside. Lechien slams the screen door in his face. Johnson in third, looking for a place to pass. 1, 2, 3. Lechien, Ward, and Johnson. The crowd getting excited. Holly sitting in fourth. Here goes Johnson. Not quite. He goes again, and he almost passes Ward, almost runs into Ward and gets by him. So it is Johnson into second, hopscotching all over the track, going through the whoops. Lechien, Johnson, and Ward, and Lechien is very difficult to pass, David Stanfield.
Lechien is very tough, and Johnson knows that. They've had battles in the past. They've rammed one another. They are a great duel. It's more like roller derby out there right now.
Or roller ball. I'm not sure, one or the other. Ronnie Lechien, number 2, out of El Cajon, California. Ricky Johnson, also from El Cajon, in second spot. And Jeff Ward of Mission Viejo sitting in third. Johnson is stalking his Lechien now. They come up to the jumps, to the whoops. Oh, Lechien comes over and almost runs into Johnson and almost takes him out, and Johnson has got to be mad about that. Johnson goes by. A beautiful move. Lechien let off the throttle for just a moment, and Johnson went by him. So Ricky Johnson has taken over the lead here in the Super Bowl of motocross at the Los Angeles Coliseum. It is Johnson, Lachine, number 2, and Lachine is not letting up a bit. He goes back in front for a moment. He's back in front, and Johnson takes it back from him. Johnson runs into Lachine. What a battle between Lachine and Johnson right now is out in front. Ward up in the air, 15, 20 feet in the air with the jumps. Holly moving up. That is O'Mara now, has gone to 4th. Johnny O'Mara, number 3, is into 4th spot. It is Johnson in front. Then Lachine, number 2, then Ward, number 1, and Johnny O'Mara in 4th spot. Meanwhile, back in, here's another look back at the battle with Johnson and Ward earlier.
A mid-air pass, RJ just sneaks right underneath Jeff Ward. It surprised him, and Ward gets a little bobbly there. RJ throttles it through the whoops.
He did not expect him to go by at that point. Here again, the pass of Johnson and Lachine. Look at Lachine come over and almost take out Johnson. That's dangerous, Dave Stanfield.
Within a 1.5 feet in the air and within 1 inch on the rear tire, and Johnson would have been on his head.
He would have been right up in the cheap seats. And there he goes by Lachine. That's a mark of a champion. He did not let that throw him off. He got right back on the gas and passed Lachine where Lachine wasn't expecting it. Okay, now Johnson, look at the lead Johnson has over 2nd place. Now he'll start styling it over the jumps. He responds to the crowd. He can hear the crowd cheering him on. Meanwhile, the battle for 2nd as O'Mara starts putting the pressure on Ward. Ward number 1 on the Kawasaki, O'Mara number 3 on the red Honda, the blood red Honda. And here's O'Mara on the outside, Ward on the inside. Ward stalls for just a second. Now O'Mara comes back to the inside. Ward is watching both sides. He's got to have eyes in both the front of his head and the back of his head to watch O'Mara, because O'Mara will try to pass him. Johnson, oh, beautiful poetry in motion. 20 feet in the air over the whoops. Oh, and he gets wild. David Stanfield, what happened?
It looks like a photographer stuck his head out and flashed right in RJ's eyes, and he lost concentration and got a little sideways.
Oh, almost a very, very treacherous accident that could have ended as a nightmare for Ricky Johnson. Ward was close enough to seize that opportunity and go by had Johnson gone down. But Ricky Johnson continues to hold on to the lead.
Looking back at one of RJ's earlier bobbles, this part of the track has been giving him fits all night long, and believe it or not, he invented this. He's the one that wanted these whoop-de-doos here.
Radical Ricky Johnson, number 5, earlier in this main event. Gets a little bit sideways. Another look at him, David.
He does it again, comes off that finish line double, gets a little wild there. There's the photographer, and there's the flash, and that doesn't help all. Knocks the hay bale. That's the last time you'll see the photographer get that close.
That's right. That's the last time they'll ever get a pass to go down to the field. Ricky Johnson out in front in the main event here at the Coliseum. Larry Huffman and David Stanfield following the action. The crowd cheering him on. The corner workers cheering him on. And here is the battle with O'Mara and Ward, and O'Mara goes by! Ward went to the outside, and Johnny O'Mara slipped by slicker than a mayonnaise sandwich. Whoa! So Johnny O'Mara has got 2nd. Now Ward trying to take it back, and Joe O'Mara slams it in his face. Johnny O'Mara, number 3, out of the San Fernando Valley, is running in 2nd spot, and Ward is running in 3rd. David Stanfield, let's call the action in slow motion.
2 great former champions here. They will try any line, and they are not afraid to use the entire track. Here, Johnny O gets the big air, tries the inside line. Ward to the outside. Not a good move there. Johnny with the straighter line into the uphill through the peristyle. But Jeff Ward can try anything here. Watch this. He'll bank off it. He is fast.
Okay, meanwhile out in front it is. Well, there is Johnny O'Mara running in 2nd spot with Ricky Johnson out in front. O'Mara has got 2nd locked up if he can hold on for a few more laps. Jeff Ward finishing 3rd. That's not where he wanted to finish. Here is where he wanted to finish, out in front like Ricky Johnson. Whoa, Johnson leaping about 90 feet in the air. Comes down kind of hard on that jump, then through the whoops. That peristyle uphill seems to be giving a lot of riders fits, David Stanfield.
Except Ricky Johnson. He loves that uphill. He loves uphills, downhills. He loves to ride anywhere. He enjoys the Glamis sand dunes out in Southern California. He calls it therapy when he's out there riding.
You had a chance to talk with him earlier out of Glamis.
The big bike you're riding today, you've wrapped up both the Supercross title and the Outdoor 250 title. Now it's time to get serious on the 500, and this is a real good place to practice.
Oh yeah, it's not so much a good training ground, but it's a good place to get the feel of the bike, know what it's like to fly the thing, because it's a little bit heavier. It's a lot different sensation to jump a 500 than it is a 250. So it's a good place to come and get a good release. It's not so much hard training, but you have a lot of fun, and also you get down to the fundamentals of riding.
RJ, winning all these titles and you're constantly racing week in and week out, I hear that you're going to be doing an upcoming motion picture.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the stunt doubling for the lead character in the movie Hole Shot. You know, you see lots of exciting stuff in Supercross and double jumps and triple jumps, but we're going to be shooting the opening scenes for the movie Hole Shot out here in the dunes. I mean, you'll see things like never seen before done on a motorcycle.
And Ricky Johnson doing something he's done many times before, leading a Supercross race. It is Ricky Johnson, number 5, picking his way through the pack, through the lapped riders. He has already got the National Supercross Championship wrapped up, and we are in the waning moments of this 250 main event here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Johnson picking his way through the whoops. Back in second spot, his teammate, Johnny O'Mara. As Johnson laps slower riders, he goes by Alan King. This can be dangerous, David Stanfield, trying to get by slower lap riders because they can take you out.
Especially when you're in first place and you're the first one to lap them. They have no idea where they are in a race, and when RJ comes around, they're going to say, uh-oh, the fast guys are coming. So RJ is going to serve notice that there's a bunch of other fast guys coming behind. So it's harder for them, easier for Johnny O'Mara and the rest of the pack.
Ricky Johnson putting on an incredible show here for over 50,000 fans. He goes up the peristyle again. And it's very difficult when they come out of the peristyle because of the lighting. They come off the top of the peristyle. They can't see anything below them except blackness. And they've got to trust their instincts to set the bike down in the right place. The pitman, the mechanic of Ricky Johnson, holding the sign out. Brian Lunas telling him how many laps there are to go, how far out in front he is. And the mechanic's role in Supercross, a very important one, David Stanfield.
Brian Lunas has trained some of the biggest and the best. Donnie Holeshot Hansen, 4 years with Bob Hurricane Hanna, and now he's got the champ himself, Ricky Johnson.
Ricky Johnson setting an incredible pace, a big lead. He has got nobody behind him, nothing but clear air behind him as he heads again into that peristyle area, or just a few moments into the peristyle area. The final waning moments. Johnny O'Mara running in second spot, back quite a ways. In third spot, that is Jeff Ward, Ron Lachine, Jim Hollywood Holly is holding on to fifth spot at this point. Scotty Burnworth in sixth, Mickey Diamond in seventh. But the race belongs to Ricky Johnson, landing a little bit hard. As we said earlier, he goes over these jumps, he'll get sideways and style it a little bit for the crowd. And he hears the crowd, he'll react to him. Meanwhile, Jeff Ward back in third spot at this point in the race, holding on to third. Just lapped Alan King, number 17. Ricky Johnson coming up now on Scott Burnworth, number 8. He will have lapped, I have to check that, that's Eric Kehoe, number 8. He will have lapped virtually 3/4 of the field at this rate. Eddie Warren right in front of him, number 23.
The problem here is if he runs into a slower rider, Larry, any kind of bobble, like right there, he just got cut off. He could go down really hard, really quickly by a slower rider.
And we've seen that happen several times before when a rider comes up or a slower rider does not expect him. As we saw earlier with that Mike Byer, Jeff Hicks battle, you don't expect a rider to come flying over your head. And Johnson will. And there's the checkered flag. And Ricky Johnson takes it one-handed over the jump. And the crowd standing and cheering. Ricky Johnson, Team Honda, has won both the Coliseum Supercross and the Supercross Championship. We're back at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Ricky Johnson has won it. Johnny O'Mara second. Jeff Ward